Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Allison.
And I'm Taylor.
And we're here today to help you with exercises for stability and mobility of the upper extremities.
So for our shoulder girdle stability exercise, we're going to get Taylor to do retraction and protraction of the shoulder girdle in a modified plank position. She'll be holding each movement for about 5 to 10 seconds each. This exercise is performed in closed kinetic chain and is done in sagittal plane on the medial lateral axis. So for the retraction movement, the primary muscles involved are the rhomboids as well as the middle and lower trapezius. For protraction movement, the primary muscles involved are the serratus anterior and the pectoralis minor. When holding the two movements, the muscles are going to be isometrically contracted. These muscles are the rhomboids, the lower, middle, and upper trapezius, the levator scapulae, the pectoralis minor, and the serratus anterior. During the isometric phases of the exercise, the rhomboids, lower, middle, and upper trapezius, the levator scapulae, the pectoralis minor, and the serratus anterior are stabilizing the shoulder girdle.
For our shoulder joint stability exercise, it will be done on a sagittal plane on the medial lateral axis. You start the exercise with both hands holding the resistance band, arms will abduct, and a 90-degree bend at the elbows. You'll externally rotate the shoulders, bringing hands up to the ears and keeping elbows at a constant distance from the ground. The sits muscles, which are the subscapularis, infraspinatus, teres minor, and supraspinatus, are all isometrically contracting to stabilize the shoulder joint. This exercise is done in the open kinetic chain.
And here's a posterior view of the exercise.
Our next exercise will be demonstrating movement of the shoulder joint, the shoulder girdle, as well as the elbow. So the beginning position begins with flexion at the hips, flexion at the shoulders, arms parallel from the legs with the palms pronated. Sam, could you demonstrate the whole movement once? The first step of this exercise occurs in both sagittal and frontal planes on mediolateral and anterior-posterior axes. The first movement includes flexion of the elbow thanks to biceps brachii, brachialis, as well as the brachioradialis, horizontal abduction of the shoulder joint with the latissimus dorsi, the posterior deltoid fibers, and the infraspinatus, as well as retraction of the scapula with the rhomboids, trapezius, and levator scapulae. Step 2 of the exercise includes external rotation of the shoulder with the posterior deltoid, infraspinatus, and teres minor, as well as a slight further retraction of the scapula, and occurs in a sagittal plane with medial lateral axes. The third step of this exercise occurs in a sagittal plane on a medial lateral axis. We have abduction of the shoulder joint with the supraspinatus, anterior deltoid fibers, as well as the pectoralis minor. We have elevation of the scapula with the trapezius, levator scapulae, and the rhomboids. We have upwards rotation of the scapula with the rhomboids, traps, and serratus anterior. Extension at the elbow with the anconeus as well as the triceps, all of the heads. Slight supination of the radial ulnar joint with the supinator muscle as well as the biceps brachii as well as the brachioradialis. For the fourth step, we have adduction of the shoulder joint with the latissimus dorsi, teres major, as well as the lower pec major. Downwards rotation of the scapula with the rhomboids, pec min, and levator scapulae. Flexion at the elbow with biceps brachii, brachialis, as well as the brachioradialis. Depression of the scapula with the trapezius, pec min, and pronation of the radial ulnar joint with the pronator teres, pronator quadratus, as well as the brachioradialis. The fourth step occurred in the sagittal plane on a medial lateral axis, as well as the frontal plane with an anterior-posterior axis. In this fifth step, we have a sagittal plane and a medial lateral axis. We have internal rotation of the shoulder with the latissimus dorsi, teres major, pectoralis major, as well as the subscapularis. We also have slight protraction of the scapula with the serratus anterior as well as the pec min. For the sixth step, we have extension at the elbow with the triceps, all heads, as well as the anconeus. We also have horizontal adduction at the shoulder with the pectoral major, anterior deltoid fibers, and the coracobrachialis. as well as further protraction of the scapula with the serratus anterior and pec min. This sixth step occurs on the frontal and sagittal planes with medial lateral and altero-posterior axes.